We had a blockbuster trade this morning between the Steelers and the Dolphins. And the Patriots, yes, they get good and bad news from this trade because it's in division and you also have to play both of these teams this upcoming season. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. Yep, Minkah Fitzpatrick going back to Miami, Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith going to the Steelers. Now, how does this affect the Patriots? Well, we're going to break that all down. But before we do that, this trade doesn't involve the Pats. The Pats are not trading anybody. But when a big move happens like this and I see the light, I think the Patriots are involved somehow. And this is why you subscribe, because we're bringing you videos every single day, giving you elite Patriots YouTube coverage for 100% free. So make sure you subscribe and also turn on your notifications. So let's talk about it. We got a blockbuster trade. And when I first saw this, it was only between Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey, but then more and more details started to come out, and we saw, Jonnu Smith's involved too. We got a couple draft picks involved too. So they're trading a 3-time All-Pro. And this is what it came from Tom Pelissero at about 10 o'clock in the morning. There are also draft picks involved in this deal. Ramsey, Smith, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Dolphins, and just a wild day on the last day of June. Yes, people, we are 23 days away from training camp. I can't wait. So here's the full entire trade. Jonnu Smith, Jalen Ramsey, a 2027 7th, and then the Dolphins get a 2027 5th-round pick, and also Minkah Fitzpatrick. When I first saw this trade, and I see, two of your most impactful players on the Dolphins are going to the Steelers, I think Pittsburgh absolutely fleeced Miami. And the reason why the Dolphins did this trade, they were trying to get rid of Jalen Ramsey in the first place because he wants a new contract. Jonnu Smith also wants a new contract. So they're both on expiring deals, and they're like, all right, well, we got to get rid of them at some point, or they're just going to walk away for nothing. So it's basically we had to get rid of them for something. You get Minkah Fitzpatrick back, but it's just kind of clear that Miami just has no idea what their future holds. You get back Minkah Fitzpatrick, which had him at the beginning of his career, and he's a very solid player. But Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith were two of the best players for Miami last year, and now you get rid of him, and the Dolphins just feel like they were already bad last year, and it feels like they're just they've hit their peak. You remember a couple years ago when they scored 70 points in a football game? It's been a long, long time since then, and I think they've peaked, and it's just going to keep going and going downhill. They don't have a cornerback now. I have the depth chart right in front of me, and their cornerbacks are now Duck Storm and Jason Marshall Jr. You got rid of Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners in football. I know he's getting up there in age, but still, he was still very productive. He was impactful. He locked down half the Patriots wide receivers. I looked at the stats. Yeah, they struggled against Jalen Ramsey. Now, Minkah Fitzpatrick, still productive, but he's also declining. And when it comes to a safety, you can have good safeties, but if you have no corners on the field, you're going to let up a lot of passes. And when you look at the stats for Minkah Fitzpatrick, they look really good. 96 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. He did have a little bit of injuries in 2023 and 2022, 96 tackles, but you could see 2021 was the best year, 124, 7 pass breakups. But then when I look at the tackles are still there, 96. I go to the PFF grades. Slowly but surely getting lower and lower and lower. And that's just what happens when you get up there in age. I mean, he's 28 years old. He's on the back end of 20. He's not 30 yet, so you still have a lot of years left. But he's declining. And that helps the Patriots because if you have no cornerback and Minkah Fitzpatrick is out there in the secondary and he's not as good as he used to be, Drake May is going to have a field day. Stephon Diggs is going to have a field day. Pop Douglas is going to have a field day. Kyle Williams is going to, this offense, the Patriots cannot take advantage of a weak Dolphins defense. And also, the one guy that absolutely lit it up, you have Tyreek Hill and you have Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle has those injury history, but Jonnu Smith had a career year. We knew about him when he was here in New England, and he was just absolutely terrible. Jonnu's gone now. He cooked the Patriots last year. And when you look at the statistics, like Tyreek Hill didn't do that much because Christian Gonzalez was on Tyreek Hill. Jonnu Smith was Tua's main target. Like from between two times, week 5 and week 12, and you were getting a combined 19 total targets and 14 receptions for Jonnu Smith. Like over 50 yards as a tight end. And when you are the tight end getting this many catches, this many yards, when Tyreek Hill is also on the field, he was cooking. He was absolutely cooking. 12.4 average, 9.7 average. Like that's over 10 yards per catch, and you scored a touchdown. Like he was lighting it up, and now the Patriots don't have to worry about him at all. I think Pharaoh Brown is now the Patriots, or now Pharaoh Brown is the Dolphins now starting number 1 tight end. Like that's not good. That's a downgrade from Jonnu Smith, who had 80-something catches in 2024. Patriots, they have to take advantage of it. You go into this year thinking, okay, the only team that we have to worry about now is the Buffalo Bills. You play the Dolphins twice a year. You have to worry about, you got to expect that now you go ahead of the Dolphins. And also, if you look at the sports books, they're both projected to win 8.5 games. And I think in this trade, the Dolphins got worse. So the sports books think that they're both going to be around 9 wins. After this trade, the Dolphins get worse. Yeah, they go down. The Patriots go up. Now all you have to worry about is the Bills. You play the Dolphins in week 2, though, in Miami. And you know we always struggle. The Patriots always struggle in Miami, especially when it's 95 degrees outside and you're on that sideline where it's obviously where it is 20 degrees hotter because the sun is beaming down on you and the Dolphins get a nice little shade. So week 2 is also a little bit, but I think the Dolphins I think they lost this trade. In the future, it might help them out because they're getting something back for 2 expiring contracts. But overall, I think this helps the Patriots more than anything. Who do you think won the trade? Do you think it's the Pittsburgh Steelers or do you think it's the Miami Dolphins? Type Pitt for Steelers or type Miami or MIA for the Dolphins. I think a lot of you guys think the Pittsburgh Steelers. But right after you play the Dolphins, week 2, you play the Steelers, week 3. And that is very, very, very bad news. And we'll break that all down. But first, you know I always got the deals for you guys when it comes to Patriots gear. And I found this Patriots polo, a Nike polo. A nice Nike polo, and it's got red on the front and blue on the back. It's on sale, $28.99, 54% off. This polo was originally over $60, and you can get yours today for less than $30. Go to chatsports.com/patspolo. If you don't want to type it all out, we'll have that in the comments and description of today's video. Get your polo today. 4th of July is right around the corner. You could probably get it this week and wear it for that cookout. Or if you like to go golfing like I do, I love it. Get yours today, chatsports.com/patspolo. Okay, we got the Ramsey and Jonnu Smith trade. And this is the Steelers part of it. And this is where I think it's the bad news because we talked about how the Dolphins got rid of 2 great players. Well, now the Steelers have both of those players. And the Steelers are loading and loading up. And you also play the Steelers early in the season where everybody's going to be healthy. Week 3 of the NFL year. Patriots are still favored. I went and looked on DraftKings earlier today, and they are still 1.5-point favorites because you're at home. So I think you still have an opportunity to win this game, but you got to think that Pittsburgh got a lot better with this trade. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, every single time he's on the field, he is an absolute threat. And with the Patriots wide receiver core last year, he locked him down. Let's not beat around the bush here. He locked him down, and now the Steelers' defense is really, really, really good. You lose Minkah Fitzpatrick in your safety, but I also looked at this they have Slay. They signed Darius Slay. You just signed Joey Porter Jr. to an extension, and now you can run 2 tight ends, 12 personnel, because you have Pat Freiermuth and now Jonnu Smith. This team is loading up. And also, you got to remember, they have Aaron Rodgers. So it just seems like they are going absolutely all in with Aaron Rodgers. True question is, how much is Rodgers going to be? Because it all depends on your quarterback. You can have the best roster in the NFL. If your QB sucks, you're not winning shit. So is Rodgers going to be good? But they are going all in to try and compete for a championship. So week 3 is going to be huge for the Patriots because when you look at the schedule, the first 8 weeks of the season for the Pats is going to be you have to set the tone. You have to set the tone. Like week 1 against the Raiders. Okay, that could be an easy dub. Panthers, that's an easy dub. When talking about on paper here. Saints, easy dub. Titans could be an easy dub. Browns could be an easy dub. If you go into that Steelers game, well, it's obviously the 3rd game, but after 8 weeks, if you win that Steelers game and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 wins, 5 to 6 wins on the schedule after 8 weeks, after with 10 left, you see the back end half. You got to play the Bills. You got to play the Ravens. You got to play the Bengals. Probably a loss against the Bucks too. Those first 8 weeks of the year are going to determine if the Patriots compete for a playoff spot or not. So that week 3 game against the Steelers is going to be an absolute huge one because that's your first true test. I'm not going to consider a divisional matchup to be a true test. And when I also look at it, you got to think the 4 division winners. There's 3 more spots left for a wild card. You got to think that the Bengals might get that final spot. Or the Bengals are going to get a wild card spot. You also have the Broncos or the Chiefs, so that's 2. You got 1 left. It's going to be between the Steelers and possibly the Patriots. So you have to fight for that final spot. And it's early in the year, week 3. What if that tiebreaker comes down to both of those teams? What if they're both 9-8 or 10-7? Going into that final spot in the NFL. Well, they're going to look back to that week 3 game because if the Steelers win, they have the tiebreaker. If the Patriots win, they have the tiebreaker to get that final spot in the 7th seed of the AFC playoffs. So that game is a lot bigger than people think, and it's going to come back when we get to week 18 all the way down in January. So it's a huge matchup. This trade affects the Patriots a ton. So I'll ask you guys before we get on out of here. Is this trade good news or bad news for the Pats? When it comes to the division with the Dolphins, yeah, you get better. But overall, this year might be a little bit of bad news. Type G for good or type B for bad. That's going to do it for today's episode of Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 27,000 subscribers. Also, follow me on Twitter at TheRealAlper. As always, let's go Pats.